Hello, Mr. Brown here, your science teacher. I make videos for all ages of students. Today, gather the family together and let's go on a journey to Antarctica. All right, let's take a look at a picture of our Earth. I don't see Antarctica anywhere. Well, that's because it's way down at the bottom, at the South Pole. Let's tip the planet over. There it is, way down at the bottom. We find Antarctica, the icy continent at the bottom. Here you can see a picture of Antarctica and how it's frozen the oceans around it. Look at that. Here's a picture of the United States of America superimposed on the continent of Antarctica, giving you some idea of just how big it is. Antarctica is a continent surrounded by ocean. The Arctic is an ocean surrounded by continents. They're kind of like flip-floppies of each other, right? 98% of Antarctica is covered by ice, right? Here you can see one of the ice shelves. Don't go jumping off the top there. That's 100-foot drop down into the icy ocean below, right? Let's use our power of science and lift up all of the ice and snow to reveal what's going on underneath. And what you will find is a continent just like any other continent with mountains and valleys, and they would have rivers and everything else a normal continent would have. This is a picture of what Antarctica would look like if all the ice and snow was to melt away. It would actually be kind of like a string of islands, right? 70% of all the fresh water on Earth is locked up, frozen in Antarctica. What would happen if all of that were to melt? Well, places like New York City would be underwater. Take a look at Florida on this map here. I'm sorry, but you guys, you're underwater. All right, so hoping that doesn't happen. Antarctica, the windiest continent, the driest, the coldest, the emptiest, and highest average elevation. That's a lot of world records. Nice job, Antarctica. Here you can see what it's like to explore with some cool machinery that's developed just for Antarctica. And of course, penguins. Look at these penguins. What a delightful place to raise a young chick in a predator-free environment. There are no predators here on the icy slopes of Antarctica. Great place to raise your chicks. You can see they migrate a few kilometers inland to lay their eggs. 40 million years ago, there lived a mega penguin that was taller than a human. Unfortunately, they died out, but that would have been cool to bump into one of these guys, right? Elephant seals live there, fur seals live there, crab eater seals live there, but the most ferocious predator of them all is the leopard seal. Look at that. That little penguin right there, we're going to call him Lunch. Who claims Antarctica? A lot of people claim Antarctica. Look at all these countries trying to get a little slice of the pie. And some countries will do little stunts, like the Argentinians sent a pregnant woman to Antarctica in 1978 just so she could give birth to a child, the first natural-born Antarctican citizen. You can see in this map, everywhere you see a little flag, these are research outposts and little military bases all over the place. And so there are people in Antarctica. In the summertime, the population of Antarctica can reach 5,000 people scattered across the continent. This is the biggest one. This is McMurdo, run by the Americans. Here is McMurdo from a helicopter, and you can see, yeah, it might be busy, but it's surrounded by thousands of miles of empty wilderness. In the winter, the place clears out. The population drops under 1,000 people. Some of these research bases are on skis, and they can be towed from place to place. Let's go inside this research base. Wow, that looks pretty cool. Look at that. Library, cafeteria, pool table. That's not so bad, right? But right at the South Pole is a base called the Edmondson Scott South Pole Station, right? Run by Americans. Here it is from a helicopter. You can look down, surrounded by thousands of miles of empty nothingness. And here you can see some of the crew members burying some internet cables going from building to building. Here we can see a shot of the main command center. Is that a dog? I didn't know you could bring dogs to the South Pole. I guess you can. This is a great place to snap a selfie right at the exact geographic South Pole. But your compass won't work that well because the magnetic South Pole is separated by over 1,800 miles from the actual true South Pole. So compass doesn't work so well down there. You want to get to the South Pole, you're going to need to get a flight on a modified Air Force jet. All right. These things are specially designed to function in the cold weather of Antarctica. And once you get on board, it's not exactly what you'd call first class accommodations. Yeah, a little bit cramped in there. All right. So who goes down to Antarctica? Mostly scientists, but you can see artists and writers. Okay, that's interesting. The Antarctic night. The Antarctic night can last for weeks where the sun doesn't even come up. How can that be? Well, you can see in this diagram, no matter how much the Earth turns here, you're going to be in darkness for several weeks. The Aurora Australis, or the Southern Light. You may have heard of the Northern Lights, but the Southern Lights exist too. Let's get up above the atmosphere and look down from the International Space Station. There we are. Oh, that looks pretty cool. And of course, don't forget that the aurora are formed by charged particles from the sun interacting with Earth's magnetic field, because of course it is, right? Antarctica is a thick layer of ice and snow on top of a continent. So scientists love to drill down into that ice, right? We're looking at 2 miles worth of ice. Let's drill down in there. And what you get is a record of events that happened in the past. Here's an ice core that they pulled out, and you can see here is a little strip of volcanic ash. There must have been a volcano several thousand years ago that left a little record in the ice. That's cool. Some of these bases have been abandoned. So imagine kind of walking around this spooky old base, and you would see rusting equipment and buildings, and even some of the ships in the harbor, old whaling ships rusting away. Kind of a weird little surreal field trip there. And of course, garbage. It can't be a human outpost without piles of garbage. Here is a hut used by the 1912 Amundsen expedition. And if you go inside, you'll still see food on the shelves after 100 years. Wow. The mysterious Lake Vostok is hidden under 2 miles of ice. There's a lake down there. What's in that lake? I don't know, but they do want to send a robotic explorer down there one of these days and figure out what's in this hidden lake. Here we see Blood Falls. Actually, it's not blood, it's just iron that has discolored the water, but we'll call it Blood Falls because it sounds cooler, right? Mount Erebus, the most southern active volcano, and along its slopes are ice caves, the world's least explored ecosystem. That's interesting. What else you got down here? Oh, the Freeze Hills. Not a drop of rain has flowed here in 14 million years. Wow. You think you need rain? These guys need rain. Once in a while, a penguin or a seal might accidentally wander into this valley and become mummified. Who knows how long these mummies have laid here? Perhaps thousands of years. Dry as a bone. Sometimes whales will wash up and their bones will get bleached on the shore. This is a blue whale, the world's largest creature, just laying there on the beach for who knows how long, right? Meteorites scatter along and can be found in Antarctica, right? So Antarctica has moving ice, which kind of concentrates all of these meteors that fall into one place. If you're lucky enough to find that one place, you'll find meteorites. Best place in the world to find them. Not to mention, Dinosaur bones. Wait, what do you mean dinosaurs? They can't survive in this cold environment. Well, it wasn't always cold. Here's Antarctica 70 million years ago, a nice chilly rainforest. Well, look at that. Tourism, you can go down there. If you have several $1,000s burning a hole in your pocket, book a trip and you can get on one of these cruise ships and go to Antarctica. It's true. They'll send you on one of these little inflatable little rafts and they'll go to the beach and you can hang out with the penguins. In fact, some people even get married in Antarctica. That's cool. Rock climbing and mountain climbing is huge in Antarctica. Some of these peaks have never even been climbed before. That'd be pretty cool to be the first to climb a peak, right? All right, so here you can see them, right? So, question is, will you go to Antarctica? Is that a kid? They allow kids in Antarctica? Yeah, they sure do. So maybe you will someday visit Antarctica. Thanks for watching today. I'm Mr. Brown, your science teacher, and I'll see you soon. Bye.